Hi everyone. Thank you for watching this video version of the free workshop that we offered on the 14th of April in Johannesburg. We made this video especially for those people who wanted to join us on the day but could not make it. Or maybe you did attend our workshop, but you would like to recap on what we said. We are a payroll and HR bureau, but what makes us special is that we really understand bargaining councils. The purpose of our workshop was to share our understanding with you and to try and answer some questions you have about their rules. We were able to answer quite a few questions posed by our audience on the day, and if you have any questions, please drop us an email at training@mediant.co.za and we will answer you as soon as we can. Let's start at the beginning, the birth of bargaining councils. This is a video clip of a strike on the Rand in 1922. It was called the Rand Revolt. South Africa is still in shock after the Marikana strikes, but few people realize that Marikana was nothing compared to this strike. There is no sound, but you can see the violence and the military that had to come in to try and disband the crowd. At Marikana, 34 miners were killed, but at the Rand Revolt, 200 were killed. Over 1,000 were injured. Jan Smuts was the Prime Minister at the time, and he is famously quoted as saying, "We shall draw a ring around you disputants and allow you to fight it out." This is the core of bargaining councils. It is a ring drawn around certain industries to allow them to negotiate, to prevent a country falling into a civil war situation as in 1922, and allow the disputants to bargain until an agreement is reached. In South Africa, we have a few different types of bargaining councils. The first is a statutory bargaining council. These councils cannot negotiate wages or conditions of employment, and if they are not sufficiently representative, the minister may promulgate a sectoral determination. Public service bargaining councils are for sectors of public services. The ones that we will focus on today are the private bargaining councils. These are the sectors for private businesses. There are a number of private bargaining councils, and what separates them is that they are either a national council or a regional council. A bargaining council also always focuses on a type of industry, for example, furniture manufacturing, or road freight transport, or metal and engineering. But these industries might only be covered in certain areas of our country. The jurisdiction of a national bargaining council covers the entire country of South Africa. The famous ones we have are the road freight industry, NBC-RFLI, MIPCO, Motor Industry Bargaining Council, and MEIBC. When a company operates in such an industry, then it wouldn't matter where the company operated from. The rules of the council will cover all the sites or areas of operation in the country. So, for example, you could have a transport company with a head office in Cape Town and branches in Johannesburg and Durban, and the rules governing your industry would apply to all three your branches. But then we also have regional councils, like the Furniture Council and the Building Bargaining Councils. It could happen that a company would be covered for sites in Bloemfontein, but not in Johannesburg. So the two sites would have to function according to different rules. On our slide, you can see quite a number of other bargaining councils. These are not all the bargaining councils in South Africa. All our bargaining councils are governed by the provisions of the Labour Relations Act. In Part C from Section 28, their functions are spelled out. We have not listed them all, but the most commonly utilized functions are to negotiate agreements, to enforce agreements, to prevent and resolve labour disputes, to perform dispute resolution functions, like the CCMA would, and to establish funds. But what does this all mean? What is the benefit to a company who falls in an industry governed by a bargaining council? A lot of companies are under the impression that a bargaining council is a trade union. This is so far from the truth and shows the lack of understanding when it comes to bargaining councils. The biggest benefit to a company is that a bargaining council levels the playing field. It also takes the hassle of negotiations at plant level away and moves it higher up, which in effect lessens labour disputes. If you think about it, the thicker the rule book, the less things there are to fight about. Let's talk for a moment about the structure of a bargaining council. Often, companies feel that the building and the staff who work at the building of the bargaining council are the bargaining council. This is not true. If you read through the sections in the LRA that deals with bargaining councils, it becomes quite clear that a bargaining council is formed when representative parties come together to form a bargaining council. Who are the parties? In the road freight industry, for example, the parties are, on the employer side, NIASA and the RFEA. On the employee side, it is SATAWU, PITAWU, MTWU, and TAWU. Representativity means that the industry is represented at these parties with at least 50% plus one members. So representatives from the parties meet to discuss wages, funds, working time arrangements, and anything that they want to table. This is the bargaining council, the representatives from the party employers and party employees who get together to discuss matters concerning the industry. The secretary of the council, or sometimes called the CEO, fulfills an administrative role to carry out whatever the parties agreed upon. This is maybe easier to understand when one looks at a big corporate company, where the board of directors, like the parties of the council, make decisions on an executive level. This is to be carried out by the CEO and his team of managers, or the bargaining council employees. The bargaining council staff therefore works in line with their CEO to carry out whatever was decided at board meetings and also in a bargaining council environment made into law by the minister. Every single bargaining council has an independent exemption committee. Any company can apply for exemption from any of the rules of a bargaining council. This process is really worth pursuing when your company needs to be free of a rule. It is never a permanent arrangement, but it can be resubmitted every year if good cause is shown. The jurisdiction of a bargaining council is important if you want to determine your compliance level. The first thing to look at is scope. This is the where. Is it a national council or a regional council? The second thing you look at is the industry. You can simplify this by asking, how do you make your money? The last question is to see which employees are included. Usually, the employees who are covered by a bargaining council agreement are your blue-collared employees. They would be defined in the collective agreement. They would have minimum wage rates, and we call them your scheduled employees. If you've been following the news, you would have seen that the Free Market Foundation and employer organizations such as NIASA have been challenging the LRA Section 32. The big debate is about the word must versus may. The interesting thing is that this has been challenged before, but in the reverse. The LRA used to say may. The word was then changed to must, because if a bargaining council is representative, the minister has to extend the rules in order for the negotiations to have been worth it. If a bargaining council is representative, then it is truly the voice of the industry with regards to employers and employees that operate in it. This slide is maybe the most important slide in our presentation. When a bargaining council has reached an agreement, and this agreement has been made into a law by the minister, companies need to be held in check. This table shows you exactly how big their stick is when enforcing the rules of their industry. Let's try and do a practical example. A company registers with the bargaining council, and their monthly return amounts to 10,000 Rand. The company, however, fails to pay, and a compliance order is issued by the council. Again, the company fails to pay, and the case is set down for arbitration. When the award is issued, this company no longer owes the bargaining council 10,000 Rand. It owes them 10,000 Rand, plus 2,500 Rand penalty fees. It also owes an arbitration fee and any interest that the bargaining council would raise. And this would be for the first month of non-compliance. You can see how easily the amount escalates into massive proportions. The most popular question that we had to deal with in our workshop was, how do I get out? We would gladly come and sit down with your company to discuss your options. There are quite a few options available. You can go the route of exemption, you can try a demarcation dispute, you can even make sure if your company really falls under their jurisdiction. If you would like to know more, we offer the following training courses. A 3-day course to understand bargaining councils. We do dispute resolution, which is a 1-day course to assist you in understanding the dispute resolution functions of a bargaining council. And our final course is a disciplinary hearing training course. All our courses can be offered at your company premises, or you can go to our website and book online. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If we can help you in any way, please do not hesitate to contact us.